All right, ready to dive into a classic.
Always.
This time, we're tackling A Separate Piece by John Knowles.
A book that really stays with you, doesn't it?
It really does, and we're going to figure out why.
Okay, so picture this.
Yeah.
An elite New England prep school.
Fancy.
Right. But it's during World War II.
Oh, wow, that's an interesting contrast.
Exactly. You've got this backdrop of global conflict, but the story focuses on something else entirely.
What's that?
The human stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Friendship,
Mm-hmm.
rivalry,
Yeah.
and that whole tricky business of growing up.
Especially in that setting, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's like its own little world.
Govern school, yeah.
This idyllic place where these boys are going through all this intense stuff. It really adds another layer to the whole thing.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
And you can't talk about A Separate Piece without talking about Gene and Finny.
The heart of the story.
Right, they're the main character.
And they're such opposites.
Complete opposite.
Gene, our narrator, he's kind of in his head a lot.
Yeah, always thinking, analyzing.
Studious type.
Exactly. And then there's Finny,
Oh, Finny.
the charismatic one, the athlete,
Yeah.
full of life, always able to talk his way out of anything.
That dynamic between them is what really hooked me, I think.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
It's complicated, right?
Yeah.
You've got admiration and envy all mixed up.
Especially during those teenage years.
Totally. You're trying to figure out who you are, where you fit in.
And Knowles just throws us right into that messiness.
With this super suicide society.
Exactly. Finny just creates this...
Oh, it's so Finny.
Right. But it's more than just crazy dares.
Oh.
I think it's Finny's way of being independent.
Interesting.
Like he's carving out a space where the war doesn't exist.
Where they could just be kids.
Exactly.
I love that. Their little rebellion.
Right. Against all the pressure,
Expectations.
especially with the war looming over them.
Makes you wonder if that's what Finny was doing the whole time. Creating a separate piece for himself and his friends.
Yeah.
A world away from all the darkness out there.
Yeah. That's a great point, and that theme runs through the whole book.
It does, doesn't it?
Even the setting reinforces it, with the Devon River.
Oh, yeah, right by the school.
It's like an escape.
A place where they can forget about the war for a bit.
And their own struggles.
Speaking of struggles,
Yeah.
we have to talk about that scene.
With the tree,
Yeah.
that's the turning point.
Where Finny falls and breaks his leg.
It changes everything.
The whole mood of the book shifts.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, we don't really know what happened.
Right. Was it an accident?
Or did Gene...
Does it somehow?
That ambiguity is what makes it so brilliant.
It really makes you think.
It had me going back and forth trying to figure out Gene's intentions.
He's such an unreliable narrator.
Oh, yeah.
You can't quite trust everything he says.
It makes you question everything.
And that's what's so great for anyone studying literature.
How so?
It makes you think critically
Okay.
about character, about guilt, denial, all of that.
Like a literary puzzle.
Well, exactly. You're piecing together the truth along with Gene.
That's a great way to put it.
It's a real challenge.
I like that.
Keeps you engaged.
Definitely keeps you thinking.
And that's just the beginning.
There's so much more to unpack.
Oh, yeah. This is just scratching the surface. It's like that fall from the tree.
Yeah.
It's a fall from grace.
For both of them.
Exactly.
They both lose something.
Yeah, Finny loses his physical ability.
Right. He can't be the athlete he was.
And that carefree spirit of his, it's dimmed.
Oh, Joan.
Gene loses his innocence.
It's such a sharp turn in the story.
It really is.
Before the fall, everything felt so open, so full of possibility.
You said it.
But after,
It's like a shadow falls over everything.
there's this sense of loss, you know?
Like a disillusionment.
Yeah, and even the beauty of Devon can't hide it.
No, it
Doesn't.
can't. And their friendship,
It's never the same, is it?
not at all. It's heartbreaking to watch how it changes.
Vinny just, you
Sit-
can't believe it.
He can't accept that Gene would hurt him on purpose.
Like he's protecting himself.
From the pain of betrayal.
Right. He clings to this idea of Gene,
Gene, he wants to believe him.
the perfect friend.
Exactly. But you can feel the tension.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's there under the surface.
Unspoken questions, doubts.
And Gene,
He's carrying so much guilt.
he knows the truth.
He knows what really happened.
It just eats away at him.
It drives them apart.
Even though he's trying so hard to make things right.
And then you have the trial.
Oh, the trial.
Brinker sets it up.
It's not a real courtroom.
No, but it feels so real.
The tension is incredible.
All those unspoken accusations.
Everything comes out.
Gene is forced to face his fears.
It makes you wonder about Brinker.
Right. What's his motivation?
Is he trying to help Finny?
Or is it something else?
Maybe he wants to expose Gene
Tear him down.
and Finny.
He's caught in the middle.
He just wants to believe in their friendship.
Wants it to be okay.
The pressure on Gene is so intense.
You can practically feel it.
This fear of being found out,
And then the second fall.
it's like a punch to the gut.
Finny tries to run away.
From the trial, from the truth,
He falls again.
re-injures his leg.
This time, it's much worse.
You get the sense that Finny, he can't reconcile the two Genes in his mind,
The G he loves.
and the Gene who might be capable of betrayal.
That conflict is just too much for him.
It shatters the illusion of their friendship.
And then the surgery, bone marrow gets into his bloodstream.
And just like that, he's gone.
It's brutal.
It emphasizes how fragile life is.
Especially when there are secrets and lies.
It's like the book is saying that the worst wounds,
And aren't always on the battlefield.
they happen in friendships where trust is everything.
Even unintentional betrayals can be devastating.
Gene is left with so much to deal with,
The guilt, the grief.
knowing he can never fully explain what happened,
He loses his best friend.
and a part of himself.
That innocence, that carefree spirit, it was reflected in Finny.
In Finny's unwavering belief in him.
And it's gone.
You know what's interesting to me?
Mm.
How this story, a separate piece,
Yeah,
it resonates with so many people.
it really does.
Even if you've never been to boarding school.
Right, or lived through a war.
It just feels so universal.
Timeless.
Exactly.
It's because at its core, it's about us.
Humans.
Yeah, human relationships.
Our messy hearts.
All that stuff.
The setting, the war, they add layers.
For sure.
But the core themes,
Friendship, rivalry, guilt.
finding yourself,
That's what we all connect with,
makes you think about your own life,
doesn't it?
your friends, the choices you've made.
The people who've shaped you.
And Noel's writing, it just pulls you in.
Oh, yeah, it's so vivid.
He gets those teenage emotions so perfectly.
Everything feels so intense.
Especially in that closed-off world of Devon.
Like a pressure cooker.
And the imagery.
So powerful.
The tree, the river, the snow.
It's also clear in your mind.
You're right there with them.
And for lit students, the symbolism is key.
Oh yeah, there's so much to unpack.
Like the tree.
What does it represent?
Well, on one level, it's just a tree.
Right, where they hang out.
But it's also a symbol.
Oh,
Innocence,
like
knowledge.
the fall.
Exactly, the fall from grace.
Both Gene and Finny experience that.
In different ways.
And the river,
Always flowing.
its escape,
And the passage of time
carrying their youth away.
as they become adults.
It's all connected.
It really is.
Those symbols, they stick with you.
Long after you finish the book.
They become part of the story's power.
And it's a book that rewards rereading.
I was just thinking that.
Each time you see something new,
A different detail, a new layer of meaning.
you start to question Gene even more.
Is he really being honest?
With himself.
With us, the readers.
It's like peeling back an onion.
So many layers.
You're always uncovering something new.
Hidden meanings, motivations.
Like a great book for discussion.
Oh yeah, it sparks debate.
Different interpretations.
There's no one right answer.
And that's what makes it so interesting.
We can't forget the biggest question.
The one that haunts the whole book.
Did Gene do it on purpose?
Did he cause Finny's fall?
It's the question that stays with you.
Long after the last page.
And Knowles, he never gives us a straight answer.
Nope.
That's what's so brilliant.
He leaves it open.
We have to deal with the ambiguity.
We think about human nature.
Our closest friends,
Can they love and resent us at the same time?
can they admire us and envy us? It's a lot to consider
It makes us think critically.
about the characters, their actions,
We draw our own conclusions.
and maybe that's the whole point.
Maybe there isn't a right answer.
Maybe life is full of those unanswered questions.
Moments where we'll never know the full truth.
We have to learn to live with that.
Except the ambiguity.
It's not always black and white.
And sometimes it's in those gray areas.
That we learn the most.
About ourselves, about the world.
So if you're looking for a book
That will make you think.
that will stay with you,
That will challenge you.
a separate piece, is it?
It's more than just a coming-of-age story.
It's about friendship, betrayal,
It's about war, about loss.
but ultimately, it's about being human.
Trying to find meaning in a chaotic world.
And that's our deep dive into A Separate Piece.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Until next time, keep reading, keep questioning.
And keep searching for your own separate piece.